Welcome to the Rust Belt Revolution podcast, where we discuss everything from politics to pop culture.
I'm Nick.
And I'm John. We're two random guys from the Midwest. These are our thoughts and opinions, and nothing we say is meant to be taken as advice. Hope you enjoy the show. In honor of people that we have mourned, John Prine is on my list, and he died in 2020 from COVID. So that was a big loss for me. I'm not going to say it was the first time I mourned a celebrity, but it was very impactful. I mean, after he died, I don't think I listened to anything but John Prine for 2 weeks. I just went through and I listened to every single album. One of the greatest songwriters of all time. Someone, I can't remember who it was, but they described it as nursery rhymes for adults is John Prine's music. And it's what it is. I mean, it's not complicated music. It's just the quality, the caliber of the songwriting is impeccable. I mean, the first song he ever sang in public was Sam Stone, which is, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's about a Vietnam vet coming back and being hooked on heroin and the effect it has on his kids and his life. And
that's awesome.
I mean, here's the thing. He was at a bar in Chicago and they were at an open mic, and he said something about writing songs wasn't hard or something like that. And they're like, well, if you think you can do it better, why don't you? And he got up and played Sam Stone and did it better. Chris Christopherson was a big reason he got signed to a record label. But he's just one of those artists. You want to talk about a good quality guy, John Prine was the top. I mean, every time he had an opener for him, he'd have him come out for the encore. He'd let him play his guitar for Paradise, and they would sing his song Paradise together. And Todd Snyder tells a story of being on tour with him in Germany, and it was a 7-hour flight, and then they had a 2-hour car ride when they got there, and they all piled in the car, and the kid driving him was the show promoter's kid. And he got on the freeway, and John goes, I think you're going the wrong way. He's like, no, I got it. And he said about 2 hours later, the kid looks at him and goes, Mr. Prine, I think you were right. We're going the wrong way. We got to turn around. And so they got another 4 hours in the car now. And Todd said, he's like, I'm a stoner, and I wanted to kill him. He's like, but John was reading his newspaper, and he just looked up and he said, that's all right. It's fun to drive around. And he looked back at his newspaper, and he said, and John, he meant every word of it. It wasn't like he was newly sober, or like he just got saved. That was just how he was. He was, wanted to help everybody and laid back. And so John Prine is one of my favorites. Another song that will make me cry every time I hear it is Far From Me. Nice. That song is one of the most heartbreaking songs I've ever heard in my life. But yeah. So who you got next?
Well, shit. Let's go with Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains. Yeah.
Good choice.
Lane Staley, Jerry Cantrell. This is probably my favorite grunge band. Like, I love Alice in Chains. The song Nutshell makes me cry. I love Nutshell. It's got me through some hard times. Um, really just dig Lane Staley's voice, the energy. Um, again, it's music I like to listen to loud.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
I like to just put on Alice in Chains and go like do what I'm doing. And Alice in Chains is like it's one of those things where like it's good to listen to the whole album like from start to finish. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, I also really think that Alice in Chains, their MTV Unplugged, much like Nirvana's Unplugged, is like infamous. It's one of the best like unplugged shows
Yeah.
I've seen. It was really good.
Well, their album Dirt is probably my favorite grunge album. If I had to pick one, it would probably be Dirt.
Yeah, there's Dirt. It'd be a toss up between Ten and Vitology by Pearl Jam, and then you know Green Day's Dookie album. I guess we could throw in there. It's grunge, and then like, oh god, I don't know. It's tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Stone Temple Pilots would probably have an album that could be thrown in that toss up, and Soundgarden.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those are all good. That's my brother was the one who introduced me to Alice in Chains, and like I said, he's 17 years older than I am, so he was,
Yeah.
you know, 19 or 20 when Dirt came out, somewhere around there, early 20s, and he said that album. You want to talk about just angry
Your
heroin
brother,
music?
your brother's 17 years older than you said, right?
Yeah.
Your brother's the same age as my mom.
Yep. That's a lot of people
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
He my dad had me when he was 40.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's I knew that, but like I didn't realize you had a I didn't realize your brother was that was the age difference.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I got 3 older siblings that are significantly older than me. And then
Yeah.
my parents were like, "Let's go for round 2." And had me and my younger siblings. So
Yeah. Nice.
but yeah, I Dirt is a great album, and I love Alice in Chains. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Let's see. I already mentioned him, so I'll list him next. Chris Christopherson. And this could pretty much be interchangeable with any of the 70s outlaw country. I mean, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Tom Paul Glaser, just any of those guys. I love outlaw country music from the 70s. I mean, but I chose Chris because he is one of the greatest songwriters of all time. You could put him up against anybody, and I think he would come out on top. I mean, he's a Rhodes Scholar for one, but that guy, his first album, it plays like a greatest hits album. I mean, it's one after another of just phenomenal fucking songs, and I mean, he's just a badass. If you've seen Payback, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, Mel Gibson and Chris Christopherson, he plays the bad guy in that movie.
Mhm.
And he is awesome. I love Chris Christopherson. I was going to go see him in 2020, and then COVID happened, and then he retired from touring, and I am upset. And if he ever does a live show again, I will pay $5,000 to go see him if I have to. But
That's
oh yeah, here's the thing. I probably will not pay $5,000 to see him unless I have 50,000 sitting in the bank, which isn't going to happen. But there will be a very hard decision I will have to make if that opportunity presents itself.
Sure. No, for sure. Can't say I've ever listened to Chris Christopherson.
Man, I am telling you, he's got some of the greatest love songs and heartbreak songs and just politically moving songs. His one song, hold on. I gotta. Let's see. The Pilgrim, chapter 33 is one of his songs, and the chorus is, he's a poet, he's a picker, he's a prophet, he's a pusher, he's a pilgrim and a preacher and a problem when he's stoned. He's a walking contradiction, partly truth and partly fiction, taking every wrong direction on his lonely way back home. And I love that. And
That's beautiful.
that, I mean, he's got I can't remember the name of the song right now. It's driving me nuts. But that's one of my favorite songs of his. And then let's just do this. Get out of here. Let's see. Okay. His song "The Law is for Protection of the People." Where's it at? It's a very political driven song, but so thank your lucky stars you've got protection, walk the line and never mind the cost, and don't wonder who them lawmen was protecting when they nailed the savior to the cross. And that line to me just means a lot, just because, you know, I grew up as a Christian, and I have recently come to the conclusion that if Jesus Christ was alive today, the Republicans would crucify him before anyone else would. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, I love that song. And he actually had a lyric he had to change. I think it was that song where he said something along the lines of, they lock up the poor and black and or the black and poor and others just like me. And he had to change. He had to take out the black lyric because, you know, that was unacceptable to release on a song. But so he changed it to the poor and low down. But
Wow.
I mean, that I love all of his shit. I mean, Chris Christopherson to me is probably one of my favorite songwriters. Might be, he's one or two. It's him or John Prine, probably.
Nice. Yeah. I'm taking notes, man. I'm gonna go back and listen to some of this shit.
Oh yeah,
I haven't listened to nearly as much Grateful Dead as I should.
oh
And
dude,
and like
Althea.
John Prine either.
But just for Grateful Dead, you got to listen to Althea. The groove on that song, just smoke some weed, get a nice buzz going, and turn on Althea. The last time I did mushrooms, Althea came on the playlist, and I was like, "Oh, we're just gonna put this on repeat." And I listened to it for 2 hours. It's a
Oh my
5-minute
God.
song, and I listened to it for 2 straight.
I mean, it's pretty easy to do anything for 2 hours when you're on mushrooms.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I could sit on the toilet for 2 hours and be just happy.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna re-listen to this, and I'm gonna have to go through and make some notes and listen to some stuff.
Yeah.
But who's next for you?
Probably Disturbed.
Ooh, all right.
Disturbed is it's not a super popular choice, but like I fucking love Disturbed. The Sickness was one of the first CDs I ever purchased, like with my own money. And I really like David Draymond. I'm pretty sure the dude has like either 2 master's degrees or 2 PhDs. I can't remember, but he's super intelligent. I really dig a lot of the themes behind the songs. The album, I think it was called 10,000 Fists, kind of came out and was really against like our U.S. intervention in the Middle East and stuff like that, and a lot of songs just about like coming together and trying to put a stop to things, and songs against hate. And then he had a song that was had a lot to do with suicide. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. Hang on.
Oh yeah.
Pull it up. Inside the Fire, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was Inside the Fire. But yeah, I think there was he was in a relationship, I think, and somebody he was with had committed suicide, I believe. Um so that song was really close and personal to David Draymond, and obviously they redid Simon and Garfunkel's
Sound of Silence.
Sound of Silence,
Yep.
and oh my god, like
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
how you could listen to that and not be like, this is fucking amazing. Like
Oh yeah.
they also
That's
did Shout. A lot of people don't know this, but like the song Shout, like Shout, Let It All Out.
yeah.
They redid that song. They also did oh god. I think it was the Genesis song. I think it was Genesis. Peter Gabriel, or maybe it was Phil Collins era in Genesis. Um, Land of Confusion. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a land of confusion. Um, they redid that song too,
Okay.
and their covers of all those songs are pretty fucking awesome. Disturbed, David Draymond, fucking awesome band, lots of energy.
Oh.
My wife would call basically any, like, she would call this hate music. I mean, it's not quite, Disturbed's not as quite as bad as some other stuff that she would call hate music. I don't want to make her sound like a prude or anything.
yeah.
But there's like sometimes I'll listen to like Lamb of God or like Amon Amarth or Dimmu Borgir or
Yeah.
Cradle of Filth. That's like fucking heavy shit.
Oh yeah.
you know,
That, yep.
and she just it's a running joke between the two of us because I burned a CD a long time ago and it was Lamb of God and I hadn't written on it. I hadn't labeled it yet. And I came home and I think she had written hate music on it or something. and I used to play it and stuff, and it's just fucking
Oh yeah.
heavy and loud.
That's Disturbed makes a pretty good appearance on any workout playlist I make.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know how you lift weights without Disturbed. I mean, how did anybody ever lift weights without Disturbed?
Well, I mean, you had
Yeah,
Metallica and Slayer and
yeah, that's true.
but I mean,
Anthrax, yeah.
but yeah, no, Disturbed. I played a lot of Disturbed. Sickness was I love that song.
Yeah, a lot of great songs.
Oh yes.
Who's next for you, John?
All right, we're going with some soul. Got Sam Cooke. Now,
Cook.
I mean, here's the thing. This could be almost any Motown artist. I love Motown. I mean, I'm near Flint, so I mean, I grew up in the Rust Belt. My dad worked at Ford. I work at GM. Uh, Motor City is a big part of who I am, and Motown to me is some of the greatest music ever. And while Sam Cooke technically is not Motown because he was never on Motown Records, I don't think Motown would have ever existed if it weren't for Sam Cooke because that guy wrote so many fucking good songs. I mean, Another Saturday Night, Twisting the Night Away, You Send Me, uh, just dude, I don't know. That guy, it doesn't have a bad song. I will listen to any one of his songs anytime, and I love Sam Cooke. Uh,
Yeah.
I just change is gonna come. I mean, there's so many, and his one album, it's a compilation album. Let's see, what one was it? The Portrait of a Legend, 1951 to 1964. That album, I recommend everybody listen to. There are a few gospel songs on there, so if you're not into that, you can skip those ones. But the rest of them, anyone who doesn't like them has something wrong with them. Because if you can't get into Sam Cooke, you need help.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I really like hearing you talk about that made me think of like Otis Redding and
Oh yeah.
like
That's
some other people, and I just really want to listen to that shit
Oh
now.
dude,
I'm gonna,
I am always in the mood for soul. You give me some soul music, and I am in. Uh, you know, uh, I mean, anything that comes out of Muscle Shoals recording studio, they got the horns, and I mean, here's the thing: you want to get me to listen to a song, you put horns in the intro, and I am hooked, and I will at least listen to the song once because it had horns in it, and I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
I love Motown. I mean, one of my favorite, my favorite Tyler Childers song is "All Yourn," and it's
Huh?
got that Motown groove to it, and I love soul and Motown and that groove, and oh,
You know, I it made me think of the movie Animal House, and looking at the soundtrack to Animal House, Sam Cooke and Connie Francis are the like two of the only artists who
yep,
actually show up twice on that soundtrack.
yeah. Well, I mean, uh, nope, a power
My
review coming.
bad. Is
uh, but yeah, no,
that Paul Revere coming?
yeah, you know, uh, that's if I had to choose a single soul artist to list as my favorite, I'd have to put Sam Cooke. But it could just as easily be the Temptations or Otis Redding or
Yeah.
Four Tops or the Foundation. I like just I love soul. I am always in the mood for it. I mean, you turn it on and I will groove to it. I will dance as white as you've ever seen. But I will be there. I will be grooving and moving.
I love soul. It's so good. My dad raised me on my nana, my grandma from Alabama, transplanted to Detroit in the 60s.
Ooh.
Like I grew up with this shit, like Aretha Franklin.
Oh yeah.
She was a huge Motown fan.
You can't go wrong. I mean, that's Barry Gordy might have been an asshole, but he made the greatest record label ever.
Yeah.
All right, so next for you.
Oh man. I'm gonna go with Stained.
Okay.
Yeah. Aaron Lewis from Stained. Not a huge fan of like some of his I guess personal opinions. I think he leans a bit libertarian in his views. And like I understand that. Like I don't know exactly, I guess I shouldn't say I don't agree with his views. Like there's some things I've heard him say in songs and stuff that I don't necessarily agree with. Um but the the break the cycle and dysfunctional, I think, or dysfunction, the two first like Stained albums were huge in my life. The break the cycle, I fucking listened to, I know every lyric to every song on that CD. Like I Epiphany, like if you look at my high school yearbook and it asks what my favorite song is, it's Stained Epiphany. Like that song was listed as my favorite song in my high school yearbook.
Okay.
Um, so it was really, really huge for me at that time. And I really dig like their energy and just like the raw rebellion of that whole fucking album.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. I know Stained. I cannot remember anything off the top of
Aaron
my head.
Lewis actually kind of broke off and did a country thing.
Yeah, I
So
know I've heard his
yeah,
country stuff and it's okay. It's not
yeah, it's not
my
my favorite.
it's I here's the thing. I think I listened to his country album once and
I haven't listened to his country
I
album.
don't think I'll ever listen to it again.
I've heard a couple of popular songs like from him, like, but I don't necessarily, yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
I'm not sure what his whole message was behind some of that later stuff, but the early stuff from Stained, I really dig.
Oh yeah.
I would say Break the Cycle would probably go in the my one of it's my like one of my top 10 favorite albums.
I'll save it.
Yeah.
Give that one a listen to later. All right. So, my next choice, well, it's going to sound generic. Got to go with the Beatles.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
I mean, okay, here's the thing.
Love the Beatles.
I'm not I know everybody, a lot of people will say, "Oh, they're overrated" or whatever. And you're insane. They're the greatest.
No.
I don't care what anyone says. I mean, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison, their solo careers are insane. And then you had them all start in the same band, and like, and that's the reason I put them on there. Is I mean, I love all of the Beatles. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
and I mean, once I got into psychedelics, I had not listened to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band until I got into psychedelics. I had just listened to, a few popular songs off of it. But
Mhm.
once I got into the psychedelics, dude, that album is mind blowing how good it is. And I just, dude, I love the Beatles. And like I said, I mean, Paul McCartney, I love his solo shit. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney's amazing to me.
I may have done some psychedelics recently, and I also may have watched Across the Universe while on those psychedelics.
Oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
And
It's one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And that I liked the Beatles before I saw like Across the Universe. I always loved the Beatles, but that movie is fucking amazing.
yep,
And I can belt out every song in that movie and just sing along, usually when I'm drunk.
yeah.
But recently I watched it on shrooms, and fuck, it was great. It
Oh
was
yeah.
fantastic.
Um.
Especially on a big screen, like a big TV, that I
Oh
watched
yeah.
it on. So
I'll be
yeah.
honest. I have never seen Across the Universe. I had never even heard of it till you just said it, and I just looked it up, and now I'm going to watch it probably later today because
You have to, yeah, you
I
have to.
was I was going to say, have you seen the movie Yesterday?
No.
Okay, so a guy gets hit by he's riding his bike and he's a musician, and he gets hit by a car and goes into a coma. And when he wakes up, his friends buy him a guitar and he plays Yesterday by the Beatles. And
Okay.
they're like, "Oh my God, that song was amazing." And he's like, "Yeah, it's the Beatles." And they're like, "When did you write that?" He's like, "It's the Beatles." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And so he goes home and Googles the Beatles and gets the only search result is the bug beetle.
Oh
And
no.
so the Beatles don't exist anymore, but
And
he
he
remembers.
knows.
And
Oh my god.
dude, so he starts, trying to remember all the lyrics to all the Beatles songs, and he's like becomes this world famous
That's
uh,
fantastic.
songwriter. And like he uh, he goes on. He's gonna open for Ed Sheeran in Russia. So on the way there, he's trying to remember back to the USSR, and he
That's
sings
hilarious.
he sings that at the concert. And after the show, him and Ed Sheeran are, they're at an after party, and someone asked them out of the two of them, who's the better songwriter, and uh, Ed Sheeran goes, "Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into separate rooms by ourselves for 15 minutes, and we're gonna come out and play a song, and whoever is better is better." And I don't remember which Beatles song he ends up playing, but Ed Sheeran just goes, "This is bullshit," and he walks out of the room. And
That's
I mean,
hilarious.
here's the thing: it wasn't an amazing movie
What's this movie called?
Yesterday,
Yesterday. Okay.
but as a
Check
Beatles
this out.
fan, I loved it. It was amazing, and it's I mean, it's worth watching
Nice.
just for the fact it's the Beatles. And I
You have to message me as soon as you're done watching Across the Universe
okay, I will do that.
because I know you and I think you're gonna love
Oh, I'm sure I
it.
will.
Yeah. Uh, oh yeah, Beatles. Come on.
I
They
that's I
not only like should they be on it like I understand. Like, I didn't put them on my top 10 list because, in my opinion, it's like it's not even fair. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
the
that's
Beatles,
fair.
the Beatles are arguably one of the best,
Well,
fucking musical
I'll
groups ever made.
I'll put it to you like this. Like I said, I had to rewrite my list this morning. I had originally had Three Dog Night on here, and then while we were talking, I was like, "Oh, I forgot about the Beatles. I got to put the Beatles." in."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I mean, so I took Three Dog Night off. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, as far as I'm concerned, you can't get better than the Beatles. I mean, that is.
Some people would argue
Oh,
Elvis.
well, okay, that's. I mean,
Elvis
dude, I love
Presley.
Dude, I love Elvis too. I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, and I know he gets knocked a lot for cultural appropriation, which I understand, and I'm not trying to discredit that, but also you also can't knock the fact that he did it really, really fucking well. I mean, Elvis is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I think I prefer Chuck Berry a little bit, but as far as just what he did for music, I love Elvis.
Yeah. No, fucking love the Beatles. I mean, if I
Yeah.
if I have Beatles and Elvis, man, it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh, Beatles all day long.
yeah, Beatles for me for sure. I don't know. My grandmother would be ashamed of me though, my nana, because she's from Alabama, and Elvis Presley was just her favorite.
Oh, I believe that. I
Elvis
mean,
Presley and Neil Diamond.
here's the thing. I love Neil Diamond, and I am unashamedly a Neil Diamond fan. I put on
Yeah,
his greatest hits 2 years ago while I was mowing the lawn. I had never listened to more than a handful of his songs. I turned on his greatest hits album while I was mowing my lawn. I was like, this guy is fucking amazing. So
I can't dig it, man. Like, I don't, I can sing along to the fucking songs when they come in the bar, like, right?
yeah,
But I don't like find myself ever craving Neil Diamond in my life,
eh,
or any of that. Like, I like Tony Bennett and stuff, different potatoes, potato, or
yeah,
apples, oranges, but like Barry Manilow, like I kind of put lump Neil Diamond in with like the Vegas kind of like one man act performers
yeah.
kind of stuff, like it's, I don't know. It's a little too flamboyant for me, maybe. Like, I never really got into disco or like or late 60s, early 70s stuff. Uh never really a huge fan.
I don't know.
But
My musical taste, like I said, is all over the place. I'll listen to anything, but
so will I, like, for the most part, but that's just disco and like stuff. I don't want to call Neil Diamond. It's not disco, but it's like I don't know where it falls in that spectrum. It's like, I don't know what you'd call it. I
yeah,
just never really got into
eh, I don't know.
it.
I would recommend just maybe once if you're bored, put on his greatest hits album, and you can skip the songs you know. Just listen to the ones you don't because there's
Yeah.
some gems on there. And
You know who I dig though, who is very similar, I think, to Neil Diamond, is Air Supply.
okay, Air Supply's good. I like Air Supply.
Yeah, I like Air Supply. I used to listen to them and go to sleep when I was a kid. I had an Air Supply cassette tape. I'd put it in my Walkman there and just go to sleep. It
Oh
was
yeah.
great.
All right. So who's ninth for you?
Wu Tang,
Wu Tang. All right.
fucking Wu Tang, man. Like,
Wu Tang for the children.
love Wu Tang. If I had to make like a rap supergroup, I think at least two of the members would be pulled directly from Wu Tang. Like, it'd be Method Man and RZA from Wu Tang. Like, RZA would produce and like he'd lay down the hooks and like make the whole bass line in collaboration with Dre. And then you'd have fucking Method Man and maybe like Royce to 5'9" and Tech Nine rapping over the album.
Okay.
Like, I fucking love I love Wu Tang.
Yeah.
Like, RZA, like, I really got into the show on Hulu. It was like, Wu Tang, like the origin story.
Yeah.
of them coming up through like in New York, and they're not from Queens. Where the fuck are they from? No, they are from. I think they are from Queens, and as opposed to being from like Brooklyn, which is where Biggie Smalls came up.
Yeah.
Um, but they all kind of came up at the same time. So a lot of New York rappers all kind of like knew each other and shit, or at least knew of each other. But watching like the Wu-Tang origin story was really fucking enlightening, and watching like the way they did it was really cool. And I never really like, I don't know if you ever, what I dig about RZA is like, have you ever seen Afro Samurai?
No.
It's like this anime, it's an anime, but it's like a, I don't want to call it like a black anime, but I think that'd be the best way to describe it, really.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically a black samurai in Japan. Like if you took what's his name? Like Shonuff from fucking oh, what's that Bruce Lee knockoff movie from the 80s?
Oh, uh,
You know what I'm talking about,
I
right?
do know who you're talking about. Yeah.
You got the master or anyway, big
uh,
tall black dude with a huge fro.
yeah. Is it Jim Kelly?
Yeah. So imagine him as a samurai.
Okay.
That's like Afro Samurai, and the whole fucking soundtrack, the whole movie, like all the sound was done by RZA from Wu Tang,
Okay.
and it's awesome. It's fucking awesome, and just like the group itself, like Wu Tang, like the rap is amazing. It talks. The music tells a story, and rap music in general is a lot of people listen to rap music and they don't understand it. Like it just sounds like, I don't know. Like I don't know how you can listen to fucking Wu Tang and not be moved by like some of the lyrics. Like it tells a story of struggle. Like, and not like in the same way that I would say like Nas tells a story, like the rapper Nas.
Yeah.
Because his stuff is more like more, I would say, more influenced by like reggae, or not like, like the struggle, but
Yeah.
Wu Tang's fucking awesome.
I'll be
And like
honest.
their whole like Chinese sort of like kung fu movie inspiration, like I dig it because I grew up in martial arts and watching like old school kung fu movies, like um like Master of the Flying Guillotine, and my grandfather watched the show Kung Fu with David Carradine.
Okay.
But like I love the whole like take on mashing up Wu-Tang with like Japanese and Asian culture. I loved it.
Okay. I will be honest. I don't know Wu Tang very well. I mean, I'm sure I've heard a few of their songs here and there.
Listen to Winter Wars, which is a song by them, and then listen to on the that Winter Wars was on the X Games soundtrack back in like 1995. And then there's another song that's more recent, and it's Logic and Wu Tang, and it's called Wu Tang Forever.
Okay.
That song is fucking dope. Like
Okay.
I listen to that song. That's one of those songs I listen to at pickup with
Okay.
the kids.
I will definitely give that a listen then.
Yeah.
Uh, that's I love finding new music. So this was fun for me.
Yeah.
uh that's my buddy. His minivan, he calls it the Woo Wagon.
Wu Wagon, that's fucking awesome.
Got the symbol on the back.
Yep.
Uh yeah, I haven't listened to him a lot. I know I've heard some of their Protect Your Neck. Uh
The popular stuff, yeah.
yeah, ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah.
uh
Cream.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will definitely dig into them. And then all right. To round out my top 10, I had to go with Bobby Darin. Uh I love Bobby Darin. He is just uh It's just fun. I love the big band sound. I love swing. But Bobby
Yeah.
Darin to me, he loved it, and you could tell he loved it. Uh, and I mean, one of my favorite movies, like musical biography movies, was Beyond the Sea with Kevin Spacey. And well, I know he has fallen off as far as being an asshole. I'm not defending him at all. I think he's an
He's
asshole.
canceled.
Yes, I'm not defending anything he did.
Yeah.
But as far as that movie goes, that solidified him as one of my favorite actors of all time. And you know, I had. Here's the thing: I very much separate the artist from the art all the fucking time because I will never stop listening to Michael Jackson or R. Kelly.
I was
And
literally just about to be like, how can you not listen to Michael Jackson? Like,
I'm like, okay, I can't give it up. It's
yeah.
too good.
Like my son, right?
Yeah.
Grayson, like my youngest son, he's in dance. The reason he's in dance is because he heard Michael Jackson.
Okay.
You know, like the kid fucking heard like Beat It and was like,
Yeah.
I want to dance, you know?
Oh yeah, dude. I very much I separate the artist from the art, and that's
Yeah.
Beyond the Sea. If you haven't seen it, is worth watching. If you absolutely can't stand Kevin Spacey, you won't like it. But
I like Kevin Spacey,
that's
and you know, it's tough. It's tough. I love Kevin Spacey. Like K-Pax was a movie that I really loved him in.
dude.
There's been so many great Kevin Spacey
You
movies, like
can't get
fucking
better than The Usual
American
Suspects.
Beauty. American Beauty, like
That was a great movie. But The Usual Suspects is the greatest performance Kevin Spacey ever gave, and the movie is flawless and amazing, and I love that fucking movie. And that's where Kevin Spacey will forever be one of my favorite actors. He might be an asshole. I'm not defending anything he's ever done in his personal life. As far as his movies go, I can't give him up. I'm sorry. But back to the music. Bobby Darin, man, he had his cover of "Hello Dolly" on the street where you live. I love those two songs specifically. Are just dude, I love them every time they come on. I'm dancing, I'm singing. I fucking love them. And then the songs that he wrote. I am spacing on them right now, which is fun. Bobby Darin. Beyond the Sea is one. Call Me Irresponsible, More. And I don't actually know that he wrote any of those, but they're his songs originally, and they're phenomenal. And I love Bobby Darin. And, you can make the argument that Frank Sinatra is the greatest, big band singer of all time, and I would accept that. But I love Bobby Darin just a smidgen more because you could tell he loved that style of music and he was passionate about it. And it's
I like Tony
amazing.
Bennett.
I mean, Tony Bennett is probably the greatest voice, like just vocal talent ever. And he sounds just as good now at fucking 80 as he did.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. The dude's longevity is insane.
I mean, and it's probably because he never smoked, he never, drank overly. I mean, never got into drugs. I mean, I would credit that probably with that longevity. But
yeah,
if I had to choose one big band singer, it would be Bobby Darin, and that's why he rounded out my top 10.
Nice.
So, who are you finishing off with?
Oh man, I actually included one here today that I wasn't on my list originally. And I have two left on my list now, so that's unfortunate because I can't remember. I don't know which one to go with.
Do them both. Screw it.
The two that are left on my list are Biggie Smalls and Linkin Park.
Okay.
Chester Bennington, rest in peace. The second artist that I mourned in life.
Yeah.
I would say. I don't know how you grew up in the 2000s and didn't like Linkin Park or didn't hear Linkin Park. I mean, they were sort of like, I would say, the band that kind of defined millennials.
Yeah.
Like if you had to think of like one band that defined the millennials, in my mind, it would be Linkin Park. I don't
Yeah,
know who else you would say,
I would accept that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, no, I would. That's perfect to sum up our generation.
yeah. I mean, Hybrid Theory was kind of like the anthem of all my high school years, and you know, fucking, I love Linkin Park. You're never gonna hear Linkin Park come on in a room and hear somebody like fucking skip it. Like
Right.
even if the song "Crawling" comes on, which is probably the most overplayed Linkin Park song,
Yeah.
I'll still listen to it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's I found their crossover album with Jay-Z
Oh
at a
my god, fucking
dude,
Collision Course.
Collision Course. I
Oh
found
my
that
god,
album. I found it at a
I could
garage
rap that
sale.
whole fucking album. I love that album.
Oh, dude, I found it at a garage sale for like $1,
Yeah.
and it bought it. And dude, it was brand new. Like it had the DVD and the CD,
Oh
and
yeah,
I will have that.
amazing.
Dude, I love that album.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
not
that.
even a huge Jay-Z fan, but that album was amazing.
I listen to Collision Course every week, almost.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those albums that I don't like Jay-Z. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I'll be the first one to tell you, as a lover of rap music, I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan. Jay, if you're listening, you're not, but I'm sorry. um I don't like Kanye either.
No.
I hate that I have to lump the two sort of similar, but Jay-Z made that decision for himself when he started hanging out with Kanye.
Yeah.
But what Jay-Z did with Linkin Park on that album was magical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That album was amazing. And I mean, like you said, dude, Linkin Park, dude, it was always there. I mean, dude, growing up, it was Linkin Park was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was in all the movies. It was
Yep.
on the radio all the time. Uh,
Yeah.
I had a lot of workouts that Linkin Park was a big part of.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then like I said, Biggie Smalls was the other one that I meant to include, but oh man, I love Biggie. Like the song "Suicidal Thoughts," it's not a great theme to the song, but that song kind of spoke to me when I first heard it. I can rap the whole thing. I dig it, and I don't know. I love Biggie. In my opinion, he's in my rap pantheon. I don't know of any rap pantheon that doesn't include Biggie, but
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My list is definitely different than yours, John.
Oh yeah.
Mine is pretty contemporary compared to yours, and mine's at least within the last 30 years. Yours is 50, 60 years old
I mean,
at this point.
mine
Yeah.
was 30 years growing up.
What
I mean,
you know what's weird is I consider myself to be a pretty old soul. I
yeah.
love I love sitting around talking to older people, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
that just comes from growing up going to church and stuff. But your musical tastes are definitely of a different time.
Well, I mean, you look at my list and it's mostly 70s is the
Yeah.
biggest. I mean, I would put the 70s as a decade as the greatest time in music ever. I mean, late 60s, early 70s, there was nothing
Yeah.
bad coming out. It was all amazing.
It's hard to disagree with that. I think that nowadays we're just kind of regurgitating a lot of what came before us,
Oh yeah.
but
That's, I mean, like I
God,
said,
there's in the middle of having this whole conversation today, I've done a disservice because there are so many artists that I've left off, like Michael Jackson, huge
Oh, yeah.
influence to me.
Yep.
We talked about him. The Sex Pistols,
Yep.
Dead Kennedys, Misfits,
Oh, dude. Bob Marley.
I haven't Bob fucking Marley.
I mean,
Jesus.
I mean, dude, that would be my biggest one, is probably I'd put Bob Marley on there if I had to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I figure we're going to just have to do a whole shit ton of music episodes because I am very passionate about music. I can't play a single instrument, but I love, I mean, music to me is what keeps me going. I mean, I couldn't survive.
I love music. I listen to music quite a bit, but I don't it's weird. Like my dad makes fun of me a little bit because sometimes when he's in the car with me, like I don't put the radio on, I just leave it off, and I like listening to. I just like having the silence. And he's always curious about that. But like when I drive to work and when I drive home, I'm usually driving in silence.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the peace and quiet sometimes, you know.
I,
And I think
I can't. I don't do silence. I mean, dude, the first thing I do when I get in my car, I start it and I plug in my phone. I get on Spotify and I turn on something. And
yeah, that's I differ from a lot of people in that regard where like I enjoy just the quiet.
yeah, well, that's I mean, I have my sound system that I recently moved into here, and I got my record collection, I got my CD collection, I've got Spotify that I will never give up. Music is a constant in my life. If I forget my headphones at work, I am guaranteed to not enjoy that day. I will usually bum a pair off somebody or find a speaker or something because I mean, that's one thing I love about my job is I get to listen to music, and I do for 8 hours a day. I have my headphones in and I'm just jamming out. And
That would be fun for me. Like I remember when I used to listen to music when I worked at my like on my sales job because I was on the phone a lot and stuff. So it was easy to just kind of like tap it, you know, turn it off and pick up a call.
yeah,
But and I everybody knew if I had my headphones on, just leave me alone because it means I don't want to be bothered. And for
oh
me,
yeah,
that's kind of like what music was for a long time at my desk, just not wanting to be bothered. So
oh
I'd
yeah,
put on like, you know, I'd be over here listening to Lamb of God wearing a fucking suit and tie, and then I'd turn around and be like, "Oh," I'm like, "Hi," you know, like,
oh yeah.
it'd be weird.
But that's this is probably definitely going to be cut into 2 episodes because it has literally been 2 hours now, I think.
Oh yeah,
But
around 2 hours.
it's music is something that I can't live without. And you know, we did our top 10 artists today, and I will put that asterisk on there that my top 10 artists is very fluid.
So
It
is mine. This is my top 10 artists on January 15th, 2023.
exactly.
If you ask me in a week, it'll be different.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's I mean, I can talk music for fucking hours
Oh
and
yeah.
I will never get bored. And you know, I mean, I can go into depth with it. Like I'll start breaking down lyrics
I
and
didn't even talk about
albums
Led
and
Zeppelin.
oh,
We didn't even touch Led Zeppelin or Black
right.
Sabbath or like any like
Oh,
that.
dude, that's we're definitely gonna have more conversations on music
Yeah.
coming up because it's a must for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so uh that was our top 10 artists, and you know, we will revisit music again at some point, but
Absolutely.
we hope you enjoyed our conversation. We may not have been as prepared as I would have liked to have been because I kept forgetting about it. But uh we will talk to you again next week. This is John signing off.
This is Nick signing off.
All right, take it easy.
Have a good week. Thank you for listening to the Rust Belt Revolution podcast. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. If you have any questions for John and I, please leave a comment. If you like the podcast, please share and leave a review.